Hey, what's up, guys? This is a new episode. It's part 2 of the AWS packaging and deployment. In the last episode, we created an AWS Lambda function which used the Python runtime, and we used the makefile to deploy the Lambda. Basically, what we did is to package the Lambda using zip and makefile, and then configure the Lambda from the CLI to use the uploaded file in S3, which has the zip file extension, and which was used by the Lambda after extracting the files and extracting the main file and then the handler function. So in this episode we are going to explore how the AWS CLI can be also used to invoke the Lambda, but before that we can try to list the Lambda and see what we have. So list functions here, and it's giving me the output here as for the Lambda function that we had earlier in the last episode. What I want to mention is last time, if you notice that there was an N set for the AWS pager. Sometimes by default, if you had this problem, you can solve it by this. So this is like quite annoying when you have functions and you expect the output to come in the same terminal window, but this time it comes as a new page using the pager. So if the AWS underscore pager is not defined, is not set, it goes and use the default one in your system, which is pager. And pager usually is using less. So in order to use this, we can simply export the pager to cat, as I did here, and then AWS will be using always cat to send the responses to the std out using the cat command. So going back to list functions, and now we can see that we are able to see the results in the same window, and this is what we are after actually. So yeah, just to summarize, like the AWS CLI uses the AWS pager, and if it's not set, it will use the system pager. And in our case, if you want to see the AWS pager, as we did, it's cat, but for the system, it's using less. So this is why it uses less. I haven't investigated like the code, the AWS CLI code much, but I believe like this is how it works from my experience with it. So going back to this, so we did last time like the demo and the invoke, and it all went well. But now we need to use the invoke from here. So what we can do is Lambda invoke, and then the autocomplete is really nice here. Function name, and even it can look up for the resources. Like now I just typed COD and then hit tab, and as you can see, the function name is here. And just let me go here and just see the help, the man page for the invoke. And if you look down, we will see the invoke with two mandatory arguments, the function name and the output file. So these like the things that we should include in our invocation. So codify tab, thank you, and then the output file, and let's call it output.json. Okay, nice. And so it's giving me 200, but actually I need to know more about this. It's not only about the status code. I'm okay with 200, but 200 could be for many reasons. One of them, some of the output is not what I'm expecting. So I just need to investigate the std out from the last command. Like let's say if I have different jobs or different executions, and then I just need at the end, I need to send the result that all jobs have been completed successfully. So this is what I'm expecting at the end. This is like can be useful in scenarios like when you have the unit testing, but in my case it's like something I need to investigate. So what we can use is there's another option called log type, and there is tail, and by default it's none. And as you can see, it's log results in base64 format. So what we can also do is just use the query from our last episode and just put the log result here. And we are querying the log results. And If you remember, the default output here is JSON, so I need to make sure that the output is text. So this is like pure base 64 string, which I can use using base 64 decoder here, decoder option. And cool, this is the results. So we can see the results from here. So if we investigated this even more, we will see that the output file, there is output and output.json. So what we can do is to send the redirect to, instead of the output.json, to stdout, div stdout, and let's see how that works. Cool, so we are getting the same results without writing any file. So this is like the first part, is to get the logs from CloudWatch logs without having to go to the console, and then compare the values with let's say the unit test results or the assertion rules that you have. So this is one scenario. The other scenario that we need to inspect is updating the Lambda function. So going back here, if we go to bat Lambda main, and this is like Lambda function code that we did last time. So in this episode we need to add Lambda main, and let's make this version 2. Okay, and what we can do now is just run make, and that's uploading now. And if we look at the AWS S3 LS codified build, recursive, I don't need recursive, but anyhow I'm using it. And it's updated as expected. So what we can do now is to update the Lambda. There is the AWS Lambda update, and there are many options for the update. You can update the alias, you can update the code signing config, or the function code, or the configuration. So what we are interested here is in the function code. So let's go for help and see what is needed. So yeah, this is like for the update function code, and we have two main arguments here. The update function for only it needs the function code, and it requires the S3 bucket or S3 key in our scenario. So this is what we can do here, is to use the same function. Function name, and then codified Lambda, and then the S3 bucket, and we know from the name it's the codified builds. There is S3 key, which is the lambda.zip. Cool, so it was updated successfully, and hopefully we'll be able to test again. Invoke. Cool, and we can see version 2. So this is what we did, like updating the Lambda and then publishing the Lambda again. Is only like updating the code with the new uploaded file in S3. So yeah, that's about it in this episode. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will put all the details for the tools that I've used and in the notes and in the description of the video. Thank you so much, and have a great day.